And we are now live. Welcome, everyone, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to the Philosophy number two segment. I am Dr. Feelgood, and today, well, actually, this is Philosophy number two, but this is the first, this is not a gaming topic. We're going to discuss the sexual representation of women in our society, how they carry themselves, why they do it, and just so any female listeners out there don't think that we're just a lot of men that are women bashing, we have a couple of women on our panel tonight. I will introduce everyone to you. Keep this fair and balanced. We're going to get both perspectives, from each side. But I'm going to introduce everyone starting from my left. Twilight, go ahead. Well, you know what? No. Ladies first.
Yeah.
Show some chivalry, man.
First, go ahead, Vicky.
Hi everybody, it's Vicky. I'm happy to talk about this topic. It should be fun.
All right. And next up we got Tissa, known as Bombshell Diva.
Hey everybody, this is Tissa. Super excited to be here. Can't wait to get to talking.
And this is like her first ever podcast, so take it easy on her.
hmm
And next we'll do the gentleman of the group. Women don't smite us. Twilight, you go ahead.
All right. This is Twilight Bites. Excited about the topic. Hopefully, I don't insult anyone. I will try to be as tactful and respectful as I am known to be. Thank you.
Next up we got Micah, if you're in the room.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I
What's
thought
up,
you were
people?
still indisposed. Go ahead.
What's up, people? Men, I hope you have brought your bulletproof vest with you, and I have, because this is going to be quite a touchy subject, but I'm looking forward to it. Going to be trying to be as fair and reasonable as I can, but you know what? Where some things have to be said straight up, I will say them straight up, because that's just the kind of person I am.
All right, and last but not least, we got the man, Mr. Red Fox.
This is Mr. Red Fox. This is a departure for me. Normally, I'm video games and not really ultra serious stuff, but tonight I decided to wade in on something a little bit more serious.
All right. Now, just so everyone can know and those watching, but what brought this to mind has been on my mind for a while, but I was at the mall the other day and looking around, regardless of age, whether they're, underage or older or whatever, what I'm started noticing, and it's been going on for quite some time, I'm pretty sure we all seen it, that a lot of women are choosing, like, of their own will to wear more and more revealing clothes, even in a public place. And my thing is, I'm in like for example, I'm in Texas, and to me, I don't care how hot it is. I just think some outfits are a little bit extreme. If I see, I shouldn't have to see cheeks hanging out when you are standing straight up. I'm sorry, and you can say in the workout shorts. I understand. Maybe you just worked out, although some women just wear those just to show a little something. But if I see a pair of shorts that I know belong to a 12-year-old girl and you're like 25 and you're definitely not 4 feet tall, you're probably closer to six. It's unnecessary and it's a
Man, those
public
shorts,
place.
they make those kinds of shorts for grown women now, dude. That's not for 12-year-olds anymore.
But you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
they really did. To me, it's like they're just too small. And I just want to get your opinions on why you panelists think they do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it may be an obvious answer, but just to get a different perspective, Vicky, you could go first.
Okay, well, my thoughts. You have to understand that, like, some women are in love with their own body parts and their best assets. So I know I wear low-cut shirts because I'm in love with my own chest. I think they're beautiful. They have names. I enjoy them. Therefore, when I
Alrighty.
go out, you're gonna see me. I'm going to wear a very low cut shirt. It is what it is. A friend of mine, she loves her butt and her thighs. Guess what? Her skirt will be very short. So sometimes women are in love with themselves. If they're not out there for people to look at them, they don't really care. Because when I looked in the mirror, I'm like, Damn. All right. I see what you're working with, and I'm going to wear this. To hell with
Mhm.
what anybody else says or thinks about me.
Okay, I have to admit, I
That was
did not look at
beautiful.
it from that perspective.
That was
It's an eye
beautiful.
opener. Yeah, so I can accept that some women do in fact, admire the way they look because it is about confidence. And a lot of people don't have it. And most people do it just to get their confidence from others, in my opinion. But there are so many that actually do have so much confidence they don't care what the world thinks. So
Mhm.
I can see that. That's a new eye opener. So I can accept that. Anyone else? Well, Tissa, you can go next. Tissa,
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
did you want to go next?
No. I'll wait
You
a moment.
Oh,
you're gonna wait for the guys to go. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh wow, she's setting.
well,
So in other
she's
words,
got the
guys, she's
weapons
coming up
out.
the rear flank. So watch yourselves. Um, I'm gonna let you guys decide who you really want to go first. And before I go on, we got
Depends on who wants to take the shot first.
well, we
Look,
do got a lady Waffle here, so I'll go ahead and
I'll
introduce
take it
him.
first. I'll take
okay.
it
Well,
first.
before you go, we got
Oh, of
GBGI
course.
and you that just
Before I go.
showed up.
Oh
Go
yeah.
ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Name's Andre. Unfortunately, this didn't pop up in my feed for a while, and it was sending me to the wrong place. So yeah, that's why I'm late.
No problem, man. We're just glad you're here. And just to fill you in, we are discussing why women wear such revealing, small, tight clothing, even in a public place. And Victoria did just
No, I heard what
enlighten
she
me.
said. I
Okay,
heard
just
what she
make
said.
sure. Well, Twilight, you did volunteer to go next, so go ahead, brother.
Godspeed.
Well, I mean, first thing is it's fucking summertime. So, oh, do we have a language barrier? I'm sorry.
No,
It's
we're all
summertime.
grown.
Okay, it's summertime, so it's hot. And as a man, a straight man, I've even worn clothes that reveal a little bit more leg just because I'm hot, right? So there's that. There's that, right?
Some Pee Wee Herman shorts.
And it's absolutely no those frat boy Kappa Beta Sigma shorts, basically.
Oh man.
Um,
Okay.
but and the bottom line is people do have the right to wear whatever they want to as long as they aren't being lewd and you know what I'm saying. Now some of the stuff borders on lewd when of course your ass cheeks are hanging out and we can see the outline of your vagina. But still, even with that, you can wear that, right? Because I'm gonna have a show at LSU. I'm playing a music show at LSU next week, and I'm gonna see thousands of women dressed just like this, with everything out, because it's gonna be hot. A lot of people. They are perfectly fine and justified in wearing whatever they want to. The problem is when women want to react in a negative way when someone looks at them. There's this issue in modern culture where kind of this pseudo feminist movement has arisen where women feel like they want to wear whatever they want to, but they don't want us to look at them, basically. So, but the problem is you're walking into a situation where you know people are going to do it, and you should be confident enough to just be able to wear whatever you want to wear and not care. That's the only issue.
Okay.
All right.
The next man can volunteer. I'm
I'll
not.
jump in on this. Yeah.
I'll take over after Red Fox.
Okay, sure. Disclaimer.
What are
I
you disclaiming, man?
well, I'm disclaiming
Yeah, you're
that
already in the hot seat, and there's two
no.
women
I
here.
just
You don't even try and defend
disclaimer
yourself.
disclaimer before I start. Oh shoot, the dude dropped out. No, disclaimer before I start. I was a sociology double major in sociology and poli sci double major in college, and I'm doing the same thing for my master's right now. So I kind of eat, live, and breathe this type of stuff. So just don't get mad at me. The thing is that for me personally, it's more of a just from the way I was raised and just the way that you know, I personally think about it. It's more like it's more like
Wait,
it's more
testing.
like this.
Did I get kicked out? Did I fucking?
You dropped
Yeah,
out and then you
you
came back.
bounced.
Did y'all at least hear what I
Yeah.
said?
Most
Yeah,
of
we heard
Yeah.
All right.
The thing is this. It's more like, I mean, the thing is that you have a lot of men who feel that, you know, that woman is wearing something that I would consider scanty. They're scantily clad, and I'm going to look at them. And yeah, and some men take it too far. Some men take it too far. They think that because a woman is dressed a certain way, and you know she has certain assets she wants to show out. You know, she wants to show. They think, well, you know, because she's dressed this way, she must be this way. And you know that's clearly not the case. I mean, just like a dude who has muscles will wear a tight shirt and show off that he's got, you know, these massive pecs or, you know, huge biceps.
Oh, he must
You
be
know,
a
a woman.
douchebag.
Well, no. I mean, you
Oh.
know, a man will show off. A man will show off certain characteristics. Because I mean, there's a real double standard. A woman can show off that she has a nice body, and men will think, oh, she tried to do something. They'll justify that as their reason to do something offensive, which I find offensive because really the weakness is in a lot of people's minds. You know, they're like, oh, that woman's wearing short shorts. Well, I mean, heck, I mean, you don't have to sit there and look. You don't have to sit there and be rude and crude. It's like, oh, she's wearing short shorts. Okay, then. So what? It's a human being. They have a body. We all have bodies. Some people are blessed differently than others, but it's all basically the same stuff when you get down to it. I mean, you know, what I'm saying is that a lot of people, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people put their psychological hang-ups out onto other people. Now, I mean, there are some times where it might be inappropriate, like you're in church and someone's wearing an after 5 dress. And it's like
the club dress. They be wearing club dress.
This is church. I mean, you know,
Hold on, I never heard it before. The after 5 dress.
after 5 dress, a club dress. Well, okay, let me put this way.
So what? Yes. So what you're
No,
saying?
you come from the club and you go to church the next morning.
Yeah, that's
Well, no, I used to
Red
be.
Fox.
What?
So what you're saying is that a woman can't worship the Lord in a low cut top and a mini skirt?
No, what I'm saying.
They're gonna judge you. Come to the Baptist church.
It's not about the Lord at that point.
Let me
What I'm
just
saying, if I was the
qualify
preacher,
that.
if I was a preacher, I'd be there saying the Lord is good.
No, let me well,
That's
a lot of those
awful.
preachers are fresh and kind of off the chain themselves. But my point is this: I was someone who grew up in the whole like Southern Baptist tradition, and you know, it's kind of like you know, look, that's a little like we're trying to enlighten ourselves, and there's some people here who are not exactly there yet, and you know. They aren't exactly there yet, and they're going to use this as an excuse to do some pretty lascivious things. But generally speaking, I mean, the weakness is in ourselves, right? Because you hear a lot of men, they'll like who do like sexually assaults and stuff like that. Well, the woman was dressed a certain way. She was doing a certain, like in a perfect world, a woman could walk out at 3 o'clock in the morning wearing whatever the heck she wants, and she wouldn't be assaulted because someone would know, you know what, if she really was interested in that type of liaison, she'd let you know. It wouldn't be because she was dressed a certain way or acted a certain way or talked a certain way or walked a certain way. Yeah. And that is a little, that bothers me a little bit when I see that. You know, and people ascribe that to women, like, oh, well, she's dressed a certain way. That must mean that it's labeling people. I mean, until you get to know I mean, I've been guilty of it. I've been guilty of seeing a woman dressed a certain way, and like to myself, I mean, when I was younger, I'd be like, man, just can't believe she dressed like that. But I mean, you know,
of course you would. You're a man.
You can't. Well, I mean, I'm a man, but I also. I mean, hopefully hopefully I can become an enlightened man and not like some raging animal.
Okay, I can understand that. Who wants to come up next? Step
I'll
to the
jump in on
stage.
this. I'll jump in on this. Um,
But first, you must come up by saying, "Yes, the Lord is good."
No.
no, thank you.
Wow.
But
Wow.
Well, if
okay,
you
man,
look right,
let me talk now. Let me talk now.
Talk, motherfucker.
we trying to get you to talk, man.
Well, you got shit, you not talk, man. Jeez. But yeah, basically, image. The thing about it is, image is very widely associated with stereotypes in society, and this is a thing that affects men and women. You know, in the UK, we had here a situation where, you know, because a lot of young men were wearing hoodies, they were labeled as, you know, thugs or roadmen or guys who were up to no good because, you know, that was the culture that was associated it. Now, me, I love wearing hoodies in the wintertime. They keep me warm, they help to keep my head warm and everything like that. But just because
Mhm.
I'm wearing one doesn't mean I'm associated with that kind of stuff because I have no interest in those things. I just wear hoodies because I like them. See, and it's the same thing can be attributed to the stigmas against the image of women as well. A lot of times the reason why a lot of times the reason why we associate how a woman dresses with how she is because of that stigma that society has. Now, just like Victoria says, there may be women who genuinely like wearing low cut tops. There may be women that like wearing what we call in the UK batty riders. But that doesn't deteriorate from the fact that doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that, you know, this could be an intelligent woman. She may just be very sensual in her nature and like to wear stuff that expresses her assets. If you look in what another thing you've got to understand is we live in a very patriarchal society, so there's a lot of male dominance that takes precedence in the world, and because of that, it's men who tend to not generally have a love towards women that will associate these things towards other women. Whereas before, if you look in like a lot of ancient cultures, you know, women would walk around with their breast out. And it wasn't seen as a negative thing because people back then saw, you know, a woman's breast as something that represented nutrition for children. So it was seen as it was seen as a good thing. It was seen as it's still, you know, seen as a form of attraction today, but not necessarily not necessarily with the same mindset that it was seen back then. Another thing we got to understand, you know, another thing that women have got to understand is that, you know, regardless of, you know, what you wear and what you reveal through what you're wearing is going to attract men's attention whether you like it or not. Men, we are very animalistic in how we view raw physical attraction. You know, we are naturally drawn to the things that more so represent fertility. So when we see those things being, you know, so like childbearing hips, big boobs and stuff like that, you know, so when we see those things, we're naturally drawn to them. So when women go out and wear things like that, they shouldn't be surprised that they're getting certain attention from certain types of men. Stigmas and stereotypes will cause men with weaker mindsets to follow on from that and think to themselves, okay, well, because she's wearing mini skirt and low cut top, you know, she must be easy. That isn't always the case. You know, I'm sure there's many men who have thought that, tried that, and have been in for a real shock in the end of it all. You know, and I'm sure there's women who, you know, I mean, I don't mean to put anything down on, you know, people who go to church and stuff like that, but I've met a lot of young women in churches who dressed the part, you know, who dressed the part and everything like that. You know, they've got all the right clothing and everything, dressed up like flipping nun and Mother Mary and all sorts. But then when you get them behind closed doors, they're massive freaks. They're freakier than me. So, you know,
Freak of the week.
exactly. So, you know, it's nothing to do with the clothing or even that they were part of the religion or something like that. That was just their mindset. That was just their mindset in general. All they did was use the clothing and the religions to cover up the fact, to cover up people seeing that at the end of the day. So it more goes down to individual perceptions, and it comes down to individual perceptions and mindsets at the end of the day. Now, if a woman wants to go out in low cut top and a mini skirt, and she has that kind of confidence in herself, where she can deal with the fact that she's going to be getting a lot of attention from men, and she knows how to handle herself, then by all means go ahead. It's your we are all individual humans here who have a right to live the way we choose. So if that's what a woman wants to do, go ahead. As long as you know what you're getting yourself into, as long as you know the actions you are taking on board and the consequences that come with it, and you are able to deal with them responsibly, then I can't tell you what to do, how to dress, or nothing like that. You are your own person. You do what you choose to do and what you feel is best for you.
All right then.
I
Uh,
guess I guess I'll say my piece, which probably isn't going to be too long because everybody else is really taking the bit of good things I could say.
okay. Go right ahead. Step up to the plate.
Well, I've always looked at it like this, like how Micah just basically said it. Like, you wear what you want to wear, be who you want to. My only concern is sometimes when there are the only time I ever really get concerned with it is if I'm looking at like suppose it be like a family friendly place, and you'll see somebody just walking around with everything hanging out, and that's not, like you said, it's not strictly women, because I've seen dudes do it too, and gosh, is that awkward. But I think it's just a personal responsibility. If you feel confident in yourself, by all means do what you feel like doing. Just my only thing is just be careful of idiots, because none of them out there. So many damn idiots. So
Mhm.
that's basically all I got left, because like they said pretty much anything else I could have said.
Well, before we move on, I mean, what I would say is, I mean, the first thoughts that came to my mind, the more often I see it is, because there are some women you do see they are really trying to work it hard and get that attention, and so it's not that they're proud of their bodies. I mean, they may actually be proud of their bodies, but they're actually using it for in a negative way. So when I see a woman actually trying to throw her hips back and forth really hard, it's like, first of all, you're not even wearing heels, so why are you even walking like that? I mean, you don't have to try so hard because, just like Micah said, men basically are predators. We have those instincts. We're gonna look regardless. You can be wearing a damn curtains as your dress. We're gonna still look and be kind of curious and wonder as to what's under that curtain. But it's like when you actually put more out there, in my mind, you're taking away some of the mystery, because mystery is a good thing. When you look at a woman, and you don't know what's under the hood, I mean, some men do it because they only want one thing. There are others that do it for other reasons, but it forces you to become somewhat more invested if you do want to know what's going on or what's under the hood or whatever. To me, when it's all out there, there's nothing left to wonder about. It's like, okay, I know what you got, top, bottom. I can almost at least take a guess and kind of imagine, you know, that this is probably how you dress normally, not to make judgments, but you can kind of, you can kind of guess that. But that's the way I look at it sometimes. Like, okay, you're doing this, you probably don't have to do it, but don't get mad if you get the wrong kind of attention. I mean, you really can't, because men are gonna get notice you regardless. But do you really want to attract the wrong kind of guy? Because most guys are gonna look and be like, hey, yeah, I can probably get that.
No, I agree. I agree with that, definitely. I mean, it comes down to your individual mindset at the end of the day. I mean, what do you want to offer the world? Do you just want to offer the world your body? Because then, if that's the case, then you clearly don't think as much of yourself. Why you feel that all you have to offer is your own body to the world. There are other aspects of you that people will take on board if they choose to get to know you. So your individual mind, your personality, your interests, what you like, the kind of person you are, things like that. And even though it won't take away from the fact that yes, she may have a nice body, but even though it doesn't take away from the fact that yes, that woman has a nice body, it's not just, oh, that woman has a nice body. No, she's smart, she's pretty, she's funny, she's hardworking, she's this, she's that, and she has a nice body. And I think that comes down to the mentality of the individual, because at the end of the day, regardless of what you do, you're gonna attract dickheads out there. That's a given. That's gonna happen regardless. You're gonna attract dickheads whether you're walking around in lingerie or a church gown. You're gonna attract dickheads one way or another. So, I mean, the very same people who you think are decent people may be the dickheads you were trying to avoid. So, I think it's just down to your individual mindset at the end of the day, and what you want from the world, and what you are willing to offer to the world in order to get that.
Okay. Anyone else want to add to it before we move on? Anybody?
We
Okay.
good, y'all.
I'm sorry.
We good, y'all.
All right then. Well, the next part you can kind of see as a split topic. Now, of course, the main example we used in the previous topic was that the current weather. But me personally, I've actually been. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know about it, Twilight. The Grambling Prairie View game here in the State Fair. Cotton Bowl. And when that game is going on in the first week of October, let me tell you this. Most times in Texas, that is a cold time. I've actually seen women out there basically in band outfits walking around with their arms folded in heels, knowing that it's like 14 degrees outside. I'm being very serious. And the first thing that comes to mind is you're not even the least bit concerned about your health. I mean, you can catch pneumonia in the ass if you keep this up. To be honest, I mean, why go through that much trouble? So I guess the questions I have is, what good could come of, this type of advertisement, and what are the dangers of it? Which I know we've already crossed over some of them with predatory men, but what other things can go wrong with this?
Um, I guess that
Oh, no,
depends
no,
on what
no.
you.
But before you go, you gotta let the ladies go
Ah,
first.
yes,
You guys want,
okay,
if you want to
fair
go.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well,
Ladies first.
okay, so you have to separate the different types of chicks out there. Some chicks are chasing after a check. They're using their body for a check, as simple as that. So sometimes they go out there in the skimpiest clothes possible, trying to land somebody who's going to give them some money, preferably have a kid by the person, and that's what they're after. So you gotta keep that in mind with some of those chicks that you're gonna see out there. That they're out there for a reason. There's the show Basketball Wives for a reason, and hip hop, love and hip hop, and all that stuff.
Don't bring those up, please.
I know, but those are the type of chicks that are standing out there. They're waiting to get on that. So
Idiot girl there.
Anybody want to go ahead and add to it? Don't all
Um,
run at the same time.
no, I was wondering if Victoria is even finished, because she just muted her mic all of a sudden.
yeah, I live down the street from a hospital, so at any point in time, an ambulance goes by all the time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
Oh, but
that's
you-
why.
Oh, but were you done with your thought? I didn't know.
Well, I mean, that's the main point. So at the same time, we're all women. Well, not all women. Excuse me. A lot of women are trained. Beauty is pain. You wear the heels. Doesn't matter. You can't feel your feet anyway. So it doesn't matter how cold it is. After a while, you don't feel it.
And just to touch on that, I mean, I have to ask, and in a sense, it's kind of related, but why do like men? We dress for comfort. Most men do. Like, I don't care how it looks. We may want labels and stuff like that, but most of all, we do want comfort. May not be financial comfort, but we want to be comfortable within our own body. So, why do women actually purchase shoes that hurt like hell within 5 or 10 minutes?
Because it makes our legs look good. Makes our butt look better. Makes us taller, especially for the really short women.
Then I do thank the man that created heels, because it does.
So it makes us look better, and some women, they even gain more confidence wearing those heels.
Again, I think it partly goes back to the fact that we do live in a very patriarchal society. So because of that, women tend to be looked down upon just by society itself. So the heels can sometimes. I'm just taking a crack at it, but I guess psychologically, the heels can sometimes, represent a level of dominance. The woman is taller. Usually men are associated with being taller than women. So I guess in that sense, because when you go back into ancient culture, where it was more matrilineal, where it was a case of men and women were equal, but the women was the priority. It will, women were put on the pedestal from back then. So it is, in a way, it's kind of a natural instinct to want to be the more dominant force, because in the universe, female energy is the most dominant force after all. So I think that I could be wrong. This is just a theory, but that could be one of the more psychological reasons why women are geared towards wearing heels. What you were saying before about something, else, about how women use their bodies and stuff, like that.
Corporate checks.
Well, for money or whatever. That in itself, I feel, is a dangerous thing to do. Not so much just for yourself, but as a woman, but for all the young women you are representing out there. If you have young women that look up to you, that is the message you're sending out, that it's okay to sell my body for sex, and people will follow on from that, which isn't necessarily good. Like I said, do what you want, but remember what you're getting yourself into. Know what you're representing and stuff like that. For example, if you walk up to someone was saying about a family going dressed like you said, someone was saying dress like that to a family event. If you go to a family event dressed in loose clothing, then kids, young girls are going to look at that and think that it's okay to walk up and down on road dressed like that. That's why in certain scenarios it is kind of seen as unacceptable, because it's not just you you're taking into account, it's other people that are around you who you could be possibly influencing as well without realizing.
Okay. Anyone else? Twilight, Red Fox?
Twilight gone.
Oh, he left or he dropped out?
I think he dropped out.
I'll send me an invite. Red Fox or Andre?
Well, I'll jump in a little bit. Once again, it boils down to your mind. That for human beings, even though a lot of the stereotype about men is that we're very visual and stuff like that about certain things, all this stuff, attraction, all these things start in your mind. And the thing is just, a lot of people don't understand that, your preconceptions about these things are, they can lead to later generations of preconceptions. Like Double M said, you can see people who dress a certain way that might not be appropriate for the time. I've had to interview people who were dressed in not appropriate outfits for any type of interviewing capability, and I don't think they purposely woke up that morning, knew they had a job interview, and said, "I'm going to dress like this." I think it was just a case of they didn't know, or they weren't properly prepared, or maybe in their mind, this was the equivalent to dressing their best. It boils down to mental toughness, preparation, discipline.
I think another thing is what. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, I think another thing as well, what you were saying before, Ken, which I want to touch on, about men and how they dress for comfort, and women and how they dress for beauty. Now, I'm not one of those believers in the aspect of. I'm not one of those believers who necessarily think beauty is pain, at least not to a full extent. Because I believe even to some degree for men, looking good can be a painful thing. I mean, how many men can testify to the fact that when they go out to a nice event and they put on a nice suit and everything like that, the first thing they want to do when they come home is rip it off like say they're the Hulk? Because that's the first thing I want to do. Don't get me wrong, I like wearing a suit. I look good in a suit, and I ain't ashamed to say that. When I walk into a building with a suit, I make heads turn. And you know, because I know me. I'm a person. I've got a, you know, I'm a person when I like to dress with a lot of class. You know, when it comes to those kind of events and moments, I'm a person that likes to dress with a lot of class. So, you know, I know how to carry myself at an event. But as soon as I get back, the first thing I want to do is get out that suit, because you know it's a well-fitted suit. It's a well-fitted suit. So, you know, it's, you know, I'm not going to have the level of comfort I would have if I was just wearing a pair of tracksuit bottoms and a jumper. And, you know, it's kind of the same, you know, so that beauty is pain thing can apply to both men and women. But in the case of women, I don't think it needs to apply to such an extent where they are literally putting themselves through agony to look good. Because if you look good, you look good. All you have to do is fix yourself up and dress up nice and ting, and then you're good to go. You know, you will make heads turn regardless. And it's a thing as well. It's also comes down to individual human nature as well. You know, where men, like I said, with men, we're very simplistic in how we view attraction. We view raw lust and animal. We see just the raw lust and animal attraction. You know, we are attracted to the physical, whereas women, they don't tend to be attracted. You know, whereas with women, unless the woman is thinking on a very animalistic level, usually the looks of a man has to have some kind of meaning behind it. You know, so have you noticed that?
Not true for me. I'm looking for looks, but okay. Sure, we'll go with that. Yes, I'm looking deeper.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Well, that's what I mean. Like, women tend to look for more than just the look itself, you know. So with some women, you know, women who tend to be more materialistic and stuff like that, women who tend to be a bit more materialistic, you know, rich and famous hip hop celebrity will always look good to them compared to an everyday person who could look exactly the same as them walking up and down the street. But because of what that celebrity has compared to what the everyday person has, even though these two people could look almost identical, that celebrity is going to look more attractive to a woman who tends to be more materialistic, who is looking for that materialistic lifestyle, because she's seeing that this person who she thinks looks good also has something to accommodate him, also has what he needs also has what she needs in order to accommodate her wants and desires. So whereas men, we don't necessarily think like that. We're quite simplistic. We just see a good looking woman and our dicks start pulling us in.
I like the way you just, it was harsh but true.
So
hey man, speak for yourself. For me,
anyway,
and I'm going to be honest with you.
Let me just finish what I was saying.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I think it's just a natural thing for women to look good for themselves, obviously, but I think it's more of a natural thing for women to focus on looking good as opposed to necessarily dressing for comfort, simply because of the fact that, you know, when you look at typical nature in general, you know, it's always the female tends to try. The female, it's a natural instinct for the female, whether it be even humans or animals, always tries to look attractive for the male animals. But like I said, obviously you look good for yourself in general, but by natural instinct, that's what tends to happen. So women are more likely to put themselves through some level of pain and agony to make sure they look good.
Okay. Red?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, speak for yourself, Double M, 06. I'm gonna tell you right now, there is nothing worse than talking to a woman who is very attractive physically, and then you talk with her for like 5 minutes and you realize, oh, this person is an idiot.
Yeah, that, well, yeah,
I don't know about you.
I do understand that. I
I don't
I
know
understand.
about you, but that is a total. That's like no, no.
No,
When I was younger, that would not have bothered me. But as I have gotten older, you realize that looks fade. I mean, you'll see older people who you're like they're old, they don't look that good. See a picture of them back in the day. They sometimes you'll talk to an old person back in the day. They were considered a stone cold fox because looks they go, your body goes down, but integrity, intelligence, those things last a lot longer.
No, I 100% agree with you. I do I 100% agree with you in all of this, and I'm not trying to dispute that because I believe that if you're as a guy, you're mature enough, you're gonna want to be with a woman for her mind first, not just her body or her attraction first. The attraction will draw you in, but at the end of the day, the mind is what is more important to the mind will be what is more important to you. Now, if you're a guy who's just into the physical, then yes, you will only go for the physical. That if that's all you know to expect for yourself, then that's all you will get at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm not disputing what you're saying, but natural natural thing, that physical attraction by nature is always going to be a lust that men are going to be vulnerable to. We can be, like I said, we can be mature enough to see past it and see beyond all of that, but regardless, it's still going to be something we're going to be vulnerable for. It's just a case of whether we decide to jump in mind first or dick first.
All right then. Well, when we moving on, well, we got a new person in the room. I'm not sure if you contributed, but um, the man that refers to himself in the third person all the time as of late, Mr. KC Liston. How you doing, man?
So they say dreams are real as long as they last. Isn't it possible we can say the same thing about life? I don't know. Maybe I'm sleepwalking to my waking state or wake walking to my sleeping state. All I know is that I'm here, I'm with you, and I'm ready.
That was actually very deep, man. I gotta give you credit for
Very,
that one.
very deep.
What? Man, you sound like those dudes who used to say that type of stuff to women, and they'd say, "That's so deep. Tell
Hey,
me more."
hey, but if it did work, we can't fault him for it. But moving on. The next thing I want to bring up, and it's actually a topic that um, Victoria mentioned earlier today, um, the portrayal of women in, of course, media, music, video games, things like that, where 9.5 times out of 10, they're always in scantily clad clothing, if any clothes at all. We know the main, offender here is Grand Theft Auto. I mean, not to make games or whatever, but if you think about it in music videos, how many videos do you actually watch today? Even what is hip hop or R&B or rock, whatever, or even pop, where they're actually wearing full body clothing, not super skin tight, not revealing. In most cases, they're putting it all out there for show. And I'm not sure about you guys, but did you guys actually see what we wore recently?
No.
Um, you may want to look that up because that was like the most revealing thing I've ever seen besides a porno. But moving on from that, how do you guys feel about the portrayal of women in games, media, music, and how can we go about like kind of resolving this or changing the perspectives if we even should change it in a sense, but just how they're in a sense marketed, I guess. And
I
Vicky, you can
have.
start out first. Oh, well, let her go
Ladies
first. It is her
first.
topic. She's a woman. Then you can pick up after that. You can be the
All
first
right.
target.
All right. Why do I have to be a target?
Because
Wow.
you're in a discussion with women, that's why, so you're automatically a target as a man.
because we're shooting
isn't
questions.
this the wrong thought process?
Nope, it's the most realistic. It may
I
not,
think he said no.
it may be the most ideal. It may not be the most ideal, but it definitely is the most realistic.
All right, so I'll be the first target slash, I
Dan.
guess, spokesman.
You can take the bullet before me.
Yeah, Mr. President. Yes, Mr. President, I'll jump in front.
So, Madam
Fellow
President, you may
American.
continue.
Fellow American.
Okay, so women in media, like we'll just go with with music.
That's the worst.
I mean, I understand, it's a hustle. Like they know what they have to do to get followers to make the money, and it's a shame that it's like that. And I understand for just the female rappers, and then at the same time, one of my Africana studies professor was just talking about that. How women are owning their sexuality. That it's okay to be a female pimp, if you will. That it's not right in society that only, that women are labeled as sluts because they can do their friends with benefits thing with multiple men, but at the same time, men could do the same thing and they're considered awesome, and that's fantastic. So, I mean, I understand.
Hold on. Well, okay, that's society, but just from my own personal perspective, I'll call those men sluts too.
Well, yeah, technically that's what they should be called, but in society, that's not the case. And so, I mean, I understand it gets annoying sometimes because I wish that not everybody's wearing a one-piece leotard every time they perform on the VMAs, or a two-piece, or flesh-colored whatever with sparkles.
Or my favorite, three-piece: hat, shoes, and glasses.
Or a mesh dress. I mean, seriously. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, please look it up.
Man, I don't want those images stuck in my head. Thank you.
But at the same time, some of the women, I'm appreciating what I'm seeing anyway. But after a while, it just gets annoying because it's the same thing. I just wish they could do more and do better. As for video games, that mess is annoying. I like playing the female characters in video games, but let's be honest, if they were in real life, they would topple over. Their boobs are too big. They would need to go to plastic surgery. They'll be on the TV show Botched, on what went wrong.
Is that on Netflix, by the way? Is that on Netflix? I'm just curious.
I don't think so. I think the season's still going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna check that out, but continue.
So it just gets annoying when I'm playing my video games. So I'm like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, there's no piece of fabric that would stay across that ensemble in those twins. There's no way that they're busting free as I'm fighting with this character. What is this mess? After a while, you don't even want to play the female characters because they just look ridiculous.
Hey, Bayonetta.
That's where we're going to disagree, because it's for those reasons why I enjoy playing the female characters.
Wow, Micah.
You must like Ivy and Soul Calibur, Micah.
Huh?
I said you must have liked Ivy and Soul Calibur.
Ivy was too old. Ivy was more like Ivy was too old. It was more like Sophitia.
Okay, we're gonna get off this.
Before this goes to a dark place we don't want to reach.
Yeah.
Hey, Andre, Vicky, were you done? Just be sure.
Yeah, I'm done because they just need to do better with video games.
They do.
I think that's the general consensus, is that they do need to do better. But there are also lots of groups of people who flip everything completely upside down. I'm not going to name names because these people annoy me and I don't want to talk about them per se. But
I know what you're referring to, and I like how you put emphasis on but continue.
I wasn't talking about gluteus though, but still, it could be better. And I personally see that there are a lot of screwed up things that could be fixed, like Vicky had said about certain characters having clothing that just defy the laws of gravity in so many different ways.
Yeah.
I'll name one example. That's my Shiranui of the Fatal Fury, King of Fighters series, SNK, whatever you want to call it, the company SNK.
Oh God, good old my.
Yeah, the character is awesome, but the outfit is questionable.
Outfit is impractical. The outfit is totally impractical.
Like, how do you be a ninja with everything easy to see?
Well, that's the point.
It's called nosebleeds, man.
Yeah. Akunoichi used his charms to be sneak. Well, not sneaky. To fake the target. Normally, ninjas were called to do espionage missions, to collect intel or to steal something. So they do that on purpose to get close to the target.
Well, unfortunately, in Maya's case, that's not what she does.
I mean, well, we gotta go to the roots of gaming. Normally, what the most of the people, I know that there were some gamer girls back in the day, but when everything started, this was all a boys club. So since we're the most since we're the genre that is most prominent in the video game industry, that's what they are gonna cater to. I mean, no, well, there's already, and I'm glad for that. There are strong, respectable women, respectable women characters in video games, and also respectable women in gaming media. But we are slowly going to that transition. If that's what is right now, is of the residues of what we had in the past. I mean, I don't know if that's me.
Well, I can see where you're going, and hopefully,
I mean, just look at King of Fighters. King of Fighters started back in the 90s, trying to be a Street Fighter clone.
I wouldn't say that. If you played the two of them, you could not say that.
No, but if you play them, but that's the competition it wanted to do.
A lot of the same
SNK wanted the fighting game. Huh?
A lot of the same people worked on the character designs for both of them, though. A lot of people didn't.
I
know
that. The point is, it's not. I'm not talking about the gameplay. I'm talking about market. SNK wanted the fighting game market, so they wanted to cater to the people that play the most fighting games. Out of 100 fighting game players, 99 are guys. So why not designing a girl with big boobs?
Well, they designed women with small ones too at the same time, so I don't think they really cared. They just did whatever they wanted with the characters.
I think that well, I mean, the thing is this. In gaming, it's ridiculous. I mean, anyone who plays an RPG knows that the dude's better armor covers more skin. A woman, like the level 100 armor for a female character, it's like, is that a bikini?
Everything is out in the open.
That's not going to really help you in an attack in real life.
Yeah.
I don't really understand this. I mean, I know this is a fantasy world, but this is ridiculous. But I mean, the thing is this, okay? When men basically are the ones setting the rules on a lot of these, that's the case. I mean, we had Ubisoft just a few weeks ago. Was it weeks ago? Earlier this month, they were like, well, it's a difficult proposition to put a female character in a game.
Well, I would like to bring up one historical fact. During the period of time that they have Assassin's Creed Unity based, a female assassin was the most deadly assassin of the time. The most renowned assassin of the time. So I was like, that's kind of an insult.
Yeah. Well, look, this is Ubisoft. They've been insulting people all week. But anyway,
all week? Don't you mean all year?
Well, really a lot this week. The thing is this: there is not a positive. There are very few positive representations of women in the media. that aren't lauded and applauded. Like it's like they tend to go for, like, you watch in the music industry, women are very scantily clad, and I mean wearing stuff that even women who want to accentuate their assets would not wear in public ever. It's really, you think.
Okay then.
Let me jump into this.
Anyone else? Tessa,
Yeah,
did you
I'll
want to
jump
go? Do
in.
you have anything to say?
Yeah, I hadn't really said much on the topic. I've just kind of been listening to the room, but I think for the whole topic, what it comes down to is education. I think the lack of education and the lack of people knowing just what their body image or what they're putting out there says about them. I don't think people are really aware. And I think that it comes down to the mentality of what society is, what the media says that we are as far as women, and we have taken that as a definition of who we are. And I think that that in itself is a problem. I think that it's okay to love what you have, and I think that it's okay to put it on display at, like, in a sense. But when that becomes who you are and you have nothing left to offer, then what do you have?
That was
We're
beautiful.
allowing society to define us, and we don't know who we are ourselves. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah, we're in a society when there's
Amen.
only
That was beautiful. That was
one type
beautiful.
of woman, and if you're not that type of woman, then society makes you think that you're inadequate or you're ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Let me
I
let me
have a
What were you saying,
question.
Micah?
I have a question for the ladies, real quick. What is your opinion, your general opinion about Bayonetta as the character, not the game?
If the ladies are unaware of this, just say you're unaware.
Yeah, it's cool if you don't know her.
I mean, have I seen
I
a
was,
whole picture of her? I'm trying to think.
I'll see if I can pull one up and drop the link in the chat for you real quick.
Oh no, I'm pulling it up right now myself.
Me personally, I think she's probably one of the more decently designed characters of, as of recent, if given the generations. I mean, of course, they were better, but to me, as far as like before she unleashes powers per se,
She's actually fully clothed.
she's fully clothed, and most, like, look at
bear in
Heavenly
mind all of
Sword.
her bear in mind all her clothing is from her hair.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
Well,
but
it's
but
magical
even
hair.
still, it looks like an outfit. She's fully clothed. You don't see her breasts jiggling all over the place. You don't see any real definition like that. I mean, she's fully clothed. But look at characters like
I see a lot of butt shots. Is that normal?
Yeah, with
I hate to say
Bayonetta.
this. I mean, that game. If you look at one of the trailers, it has a crotch shot. Okay, but
Yeah, I'm just kind of scrolling through to see.
You see a lot of her butt and crotch and guns.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm seeing.
in order to really understand Bayonetta, you'd have to have had played the game and understood a little bit of her personality. Yes,
Yeah.
Bayonetta physically is hot, but her attitude about it is like she's hot. She's like, I'm good looking. I know I'm good looking, but I'm not here for that. I got something I got to do. Like, she's a woman.
She's
who's
about
taking
business.
care of business, and she's not going to let anyone get in her way of her taking care of whatever business she's got to take care of. Like, she's not, like, a lot of characters in gaming are like, their character, but they're eye candy, which is why I never really liked Dead or Alive or I'm
That's
not
what
a
I feel.
huge fan of Tomonobu Itagaki because he does, like, I mean, I don't like his portrayal of women, okay? Like, a woman can be attractive and not be, like, it becomes a caricature of femininity, which is, I find offensive.
okay.
But don't you find offensive that there are designers, video game designers and developers that create a lot of male caricatures?
You mean the bald-headed 40-year-old grizzled, like has a voice like they've been drinking whiskey every day for like 25 years?
Yeah,
So,
it's
like,
not
and
only
chain smoking cigarettes.
yeah,
Bald-headed white
they not only
guy, like ultra ripped. Well, I mean, it's obvious that most men don't look like that. Most men are not Gerard Butler, or let's see who else has a
Vicky,
really
don't
great
you
voice.
do not step in and name examples. None of you.
No, I'm just saying. Everyone can be that dude, okay? And just like not every woman can be, what they called back in the day the brick house. You can't. Look, listen. That's the wonderful thing about human beings is that with such a small array of samples, there's such a wide range, a wide array of genetic diversity. It's amazing. Celebrate that diversity. Don't try and pigeonhole women into being, this self-image that they put on women. Well, unless you look like this, you're not considered attractive, or unless you act this certain way, you won't find a potential mate. It's different. Different people are attracted to different things. Different things accentuate for different people.
Well, that actually brings up a good point. I didn't think about this. This is off the top of my head, but we all know that how women are portrayed today and used is basically a business. We all know the phrase "sex sells." However, there is actually a show about this too. I don't know the name of it, but that show about how they're looking at women that work at Twin Peaks and Hooters. Now, to me,
Fujiko.
now I know Hooters is a bar and grill kind of place. Honestly, don't smite me. I've never been. Okay.
Don't worry, I haven't either.
You're in Texas and you've
They
never
have
been
great
to Hooters?
wings.
Hey, I trust me. I got 3 other places I can get better wings than that from. I'm pretty sure. Trust me. But but when I think about it, I've actually watched a few episodes of this show. Like I said, I don't know what it's called, but women are actually trying to convince the owner that, or ask him like, do you think this is right to have women dress like this for business, for attention, to get better tips? And of course, they do have a cleavage line longer than the driveway. I mean, seriously, and they are wearing the smallest of the small shorts, and they typically don't even hire women unless they do have a nice cup size. And to me, that's like one of the. I mean, besides being a stripper, it's like they're trying to make it seem like it really is okay to tell women that this is why we're hiring you, and you're going to be serving mostly men, women, and sometimes even kids. So when a kid when a kid is sitting there on a maybe with a little coloring thing in his hand, he looks up and he sees he sees 2 cups of milk.
Ooh,
I mean, I'm just saying, like, what is your opinion about that type of establishment? If you've
Well,
been, I have nothing against you. I really don't. I don't frown upon it because I understand business. Business. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but just your opinion as a side note.
Well, I hate to break this to you, but I live in the D.C. metropolitan area, and I take the metro like almost every day to go to work. And sometimes, traffic is going to be an SOB, so I'll get off at one of my stops before I have to switch over to the main line that'll take me to where close to where I live. And there is a Hooters there, and sometimes I'll have dinner there and go back. And to tell you the truth, not like often, like maybe like once every 3 or 4 months or something like that. But the thing is this: first of all, I don't know who you've been talking to, but most the Hooters I've been to, the women aren't really that attractive. Some of them look underfed. Like
What did
literally,
that say? They in the
look,
restaurant and underfed.
I'm eating a burger and 6 wings and some fries. You need to eat this, really. You need to eat this because it's windy outside, and if the wind came on, it would blow you away. I mean, you'd be like, ah.
That's wrong.
I don't know why people think. Oh snap! Yeah, I'll get back. I'm just saying. It seems to be that people don't understand that. I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I mean Hooters. I mean, I think it's really false advertising because these women, most of them are young, but they aren't really fine. When you think a fine woman, they aren't really fine. They're just really kind of skinny and malnourished looking. I'm like, man, you need to feed these people. You look sick. You look sick. You need help, please. Just look. Go to Hooters and buy someone a dinner, but not like you're trying to hit on them. Just please eat. Please eat.
Okay.
He just went on.
Anyone else want to help the malnourished women?
Well, I've gone to Hooters many a time, and usually the women don't really have anything up top to begin with. Not anything worth looking at, anyway. If that's what the establishment is supposed to be about,
Yeah.
they don't have it.
So what you're saying is,
Yeah.
you're actually, even as a woman, you're disappointed.
I'm disappointed. I'm coming in there for Hooters, and they're not there. I'm better off going to the local bar, because at least that bartender has something to look at. I'm
Wow.
That's what I'm going there for, and I want to appreciate it.
Hooters is false advertising. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
Hooters is
saying.
false advertisement.
It's
If you're going
false
there for that,
advertising.
don't.
See, Vicky.
I'm
Vicky.
waiting for someone to sue them.
So instead of calling it Hooters, they should call it Now Lady Chest.
Damn.
They should call it the bar for carpenters.
Oh. Flat as a board.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyone else?
I'm trying to look up. There's a restaurant. It's in the South, and I'm trying to look it up. But it's really, instead of being Hooters, it's women with big butts, and I can't find the name of the place.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Okay, sir, mix a lot.
Brothers can't deny.
Really?
Girl, what's in? Sorry.
That is from the whole song.
Those women in that song don't really have big butts. It's ridiculous.
It's just zoomed in cameras.
It's just zoom.
False
Really?
advertising.
Really? That's where you're going? I mean, if you're going to do a song called the Big Butt Song, at least have some women with big butts. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
You
this,
know what though? And actually, that's something else I want to touch on. I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen this. If you've been to a club or a bar, or whatever, even just a party, when a very, very song that basically, is disrespectful to women comes on and women dance to it. To me, it's like, I understand you can say, "Oh, I like the beat." Okay, that's one thing. But I'm sorry, but if someone's talking about me, I'm not gonna really celebrate them. I'm just
oh, you
saying.
sound like Chris Rock with that stand up where he's talking about the song with the in the eye and in the ear and he ain't what he just said.
I remember that.
He ain't talking about me.
Well,
But that goes back to what was already said, and this is self-education on your own body and who you are.
Look, I'm gonna quote Chris Rock on this one. I like rap, but I can't defend it. I can't do it.
And I'll straight up tell you, there's a lot of hip hop that has come out. I just don't listen to it.
I can't do
I
it.
hear it once, and if I get halfway through a song and I hear something about somebody's behind, or how many chains they got, or how many women they done laid up in the bed with, I turn it off.
Like here's the thing. I used to like listening to rap, but then I listened to the radio edit, which is like the nice version, and then you listen to the real song. You're like, this song is filthy. I mean, even filthier than you could imagine. And I'm a grown ass man, and I'm like, no. Ugh.
well, the final topic I got is, and I think Tissa touched on this earlier, but how can we at least begin to resolve this? Like, what steps could we take to resolve this outlook, this behavior, this perception? Like, what can be done about it, on both sides? And
I'll
Vicky,
jump
you
on
can
this.
go first.
Yeah, go on, Vicky.
Why you keep picking on Vicky?
Because
No,
I don't want anyone to pick on me, especially women.
So you're just basically,
I can
you're
at
just
least say
basically
that
covering
I did not cut her. Or I can at least say that any women that listen to this, they'd be like, he was a perfect gentleman. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I can cover that for myself.
Covering
Why?
your
Really?
own ass.
Mate, why are you
Exactly.
concerned?
CYA.
Mate, why are you concerned? You have a woman.
Mm.
Covering his own ass.
It,
Why you need
And
to cover yourself with
throwing the
clothing?
rest of y'all to the wolves.
because I
Why?
mean, still, I mean, no matter what, I still gotta cover my ass. If nothing else, to make sure no one else is looking at it.
Really though.
Just saying.
Uh huh.
He had to say it. He had to say it.
Okay. Um, for things to change, society as a whole needs to change. The whole, I mean, just in the U.S. alone, well, not even across the world, women are just being attacked, just straight out being attacked. We're not allowed to control our own body, so expecting media and everything else to change, I mean, people need to change their way of thought in regards to women. And until that changes, not much else is going to.
hmm
Yep.
I'm gonna follow up from what Vicky said because she more or less hit the nail on the head right there. I think, especially I think, there is a lot of pessimism towards how women choose to carry themselves, and it's something I don't necessarily agree with because at the end of the day, just as how you have women who do certain things, you have men who, believe it or not, do things that are similar. Now, they may not be exactly the same as what a woman does. So, for instance, let me say, for example, a man will a man may get with a woman solely for sex. A woman may get with a man solely for money. So it's kind of like those things. Both of them, each one revolves around doing something to get something else. But the end result just tends to be different depending on whether it's male or female. Men do the same things women do for different results. Women do the same things men do for different results. So it's not an issue that takes precedence. It's not an issue that is not. It's not just an issue where it's just women that are involved in these things. It's also men as well. The issue extends between both genders. And I think, especially us as men, one of the first things we need to do is, stop being so pessimistic towards how a woman chooses to live their life, because I think a lot of it stems from, an insecurity a lot of it stems from, you know, I wouldn't say an insecurity, but I would say, buying into, again, media hypes and media stereotypes and stuff like that, and thinking that that's all that's out there. Now, don't get me wrong, I think there are a lot of foolish women out there, but at the same time, I also think there are a lot of amazing women out there as well who are very highly educated and highly intelligent. At the end of the day, you can't tell someone how to live their life. If a woman is educated, if she is attractive and she has a good personality and stuff like that, and she chooses to wear low cut clothing, does that necessarily make her does that make her, a bad woman? Or does that mean she's,
A
um
freak.
yeah, does that necessarily make her a freak or a bad woman just because that? No, it doesn't. Maybe she just likes to wear that kind of clothing. She may have come from a country where wearing those kind of clothes was normal, where it wasn't looked down upon or anything. It was just everyday stuff. So I think we get too caught up in our inability to control situations which we want to control, but we don't necessarily have any control over. I think, like Vicky said, if society is going to change, then we need to change our perception. We need to change our thought process. And that's literally what it is. We're not going to change the world unless we change ourselves. And until, we stop, until we throw away these stereotypes and these ideals that society has of the world and has of individuals, then we're always going to be attacking one another, because we're always going to say, well, society says you should be this way or you're this, or society should say you should be that way because you're that. When no, it's none of that. You be how you choose to be from your wise enough and educated enough to take on board the responsibilities of what you're doing, and able to handle the reaction that come from your own actions, then it's just down to your own individual. It's just down to your own individual self. So I think the biggest problem out of all of this is just a lack of education, and that is literally it. If people were well educated and had a well educated mindset, then we wouldn't be having these problems. You would have the one or two idiots out there, but it wouldn't be on the scale it is today. But because people are choosing not to think for themselves and are choosing to let the society determine what is right and wrong, when really and truly the only people that should be determining right and wrong is ourselves, then we're always going to have these problems. These problems are going to go around in cycles and cycles and cycles. And that's what I mean. I'm a person, I speak my mind, I speak how I feel, and I speak how I like. You know, I'm a kind of person, I have no objections towards women and sensuality, because even if you look, you know, when even if you look, you know, there's for instance, let's take for instance the naked body. There's nothing wrong if a man and a woman want to take nude pictures together as a couple, as a way to express themselves. You know, for some people, it just depends on the mindset of the people. For some people, looking at a nude photo could mean, you know, oh, why are they taking pictures nude like that? This is not appropriate, whatever. For other people, it could be a beautiful work of art. So it's just down to individual perceptions at the end of the day. It's just down to educating yourself. It's down to knowing time and place and when to do things, and what actions, what reaction will come with the action, what consequences will come with the actions you have chosen, that you have chose to take on board at the end of the day. So it's the biggest thing, like I said before, is just a matter of educating yourself. Once we educate ourselves and learn to be independent and stop trying to be codependent, then we will realize that, you know, at the end of the day, it's what we choose to do as individuals. How other people want to view that at the end of the day, that's their business. Forget about them. It's down to us as individuals and how we choose to view ourselves and view the world.
Okay, nice. Very nice. Anyone else want to chime in on this?
I think it stems from a lot of people. I think it stems from the fact that a lot of men do not like women. Now, and what I mean by this is, I don't mean they don't want to go with women, or, you know, they don't find women attractive. I think what it is that a lot of men have been conditioned to just, they don't like women. They don't think highly of them. Like a woman, like in that whole they call it the Madonna whore syndrome, where a woman can either be a lady or she can be absolute, like low class person, and that's a terrible thing to classify people into, that you don't know, you haven't met, you don't really, you know, just to label people like that. But a lot of men do that. They do that. They think, well, that woman is this way, so she has to be like this, or that woman dresses this way, she has to be this way. It's sad.
Okay. Anyone else before we close out?
There's something I don't understand. Um, we say society thinks this, society thinks that, society does this or makes us do that. But my question is society an entire different entity? Um, uh, yeah, entirely different than us. I mean, we are part of society. We are um, these people right here talking in this small Google Plus hangout is part of society. We are um, we are part of the collective power of the individual. So when we say the society, we are talking about ourselves.
Well, it depends. Well, this is what you got to understand. When people speak of society, yes, society is the social community of people in general. But when we talk about society, we talk about who is in control of that society. And let's be honest, we're not in control of the general society that we are in. You know, those are people, there are people that are in control and that are setting all the standards and this, that. And I'm not saying we have to follow them. We shouldn't follow them at all. We should, you know, lead ourselves. But, you know, when we talk about society, that's what we're mainly referring to, the people who, you know, make the decisions in society and those who follow those decisions, as opposed to making decisions for themselves.
Okay. Anyone else? Going once, going twice.
I'll touch it.
Okay, go right ahead.
Who made whoever asked the question about us being society and it being one and the same? I agree. I agree that we are one and the same. Yes, society is speaking of the overall general population of us as a whole, but I think that we as individuals are just as powerful as society. And we have the mentality that society has because 9 times out of 10, that is what we think of ourselves. You have the ability to express yourself in any way that you see fit. So at the end of the day, even if something is portrayed on the media or in a game or whatever, you make the overall decision. You decide what it is that you want to do, what it is that you choose to believe. And in making those decisions, you co-sign with society. So at the end of the day, it really is one and the same. Someone can tell me something all day long, but if I choose not to believe it, then I don't believe it. I make the overall decision. So you can't. I think that yes, society plays a part in it, but it really does come down to the individual. And like I said, it's the lack of education. And I think that as individuals, a lot of times we do things and we demand a certain respect. But that respect that we want is really not justified. You can't dress a certain way or act a certain way. Prime example, when you go to work, you can't just go in there any kind of way. You can't just say what you want to say just because, oh, well, I feel like saying it, so I want to do it. I think that there are certain standards to life in general. And when you don't know what those standards are, you sell yourself short, hence the lack of education. And I think that that's a major problem as individuals. And I think that change can't be inflicted if people don't want it. You can preach change all day, but nothing will change if people don't want it. The society and the world's views on women has not changed because women don't want it to change. They don't want it to change. And until they want it to change, until they realize that their self-worth is more than an image, they'll wake up and see that there is something wrong with the way society views us. But people don't understand that it's a problem because to them, that's all they know. So until they know something different, they won't do anything different. It'll always be the same.
Tissa, you're an amazing woman.
Preach! That's all I gotta say. Amen. Let the church say, amen.
Now that's gangster.
That was beautiful right there.
You spoke the truth.
All right, so basically, in the words of Michael Jackson, basically, it starts with the man in the mirror or woman.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm not going to forget to mention you guys. Trust me, this is all about you tonight. Well, that will just about do it unless anyone has anything to add to it.
I think Tessa rounded it off beautifully.
All right. Well, I am so happy you guys could attend tonight. I know this is totally out of the realm of what we typically do, being that we're, gamers or whatnot. But I'm glad you guys could attend. I thank you very much for being here. This will not be the last. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys give your outros. And, of course, ladies will go first. I will not forget that. Ladies? Victoria?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
it's been.
I thought I lost you. I was going to make the guys wait until I called you back. So go ahead.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's been fun as always. I look forward to more of these type of topics and sharing my thoughts.
All right, and for anyone out there listening, be sure to check her out. Is that I think it's fangirlreview.com. Is
Yes.
that right? I want to make sure I get that right. This is about you, but but yeah, be sure to check her out. For some great reviews on movies. Actually, I mean, they're reviews that basically anyone can understand, in my opinion. I love them, so be sure to check her out, guys. Next up, we got Tessa, aka the Bombshell Diva.
Hey guys, I really enjoyed it. I know I didn't really say much tonight, but this is my first time being on a podcast, and so I was just kind of filling out the room. But I really enjoyed it and can't wait for the next one.
We really enjoyed your input.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and also be sure to check out for those listening, Bombshell Diva's YouTube channel. She's fairly new, but she does all types of things. So anything from what was it, decor that you can do yourself and crafting to inspirational. She's gonna be doing all of it. I think she has a few videos up right now. So be sure to check her out, Bombshell Diva. And now we lowly men can go. Who's the lowest? I'm kidding, but you.
I keep my
we'll go.
standards high, mate.
I
What I
go
know
from
about
left to
me.
right. I go from left to right. So first up, go ahead and go, Micah.
It was a good podcast. I was glad to be part of it. It was great. It was great to have two lovely ladies give their input. So I thank you too as well. And I'm looking forward to more discussions like this. So thank you, Ken, for inviting me, and I will definitely look forward to more.
All right, thanks very much, man. I'm glad to have you here. Next up will be Mr. KC Liston, or Liston KC Liston.
Continuing with the theme of dreams, just one last piece of advice. Try not to try not to sleep at night so you can daydream. And out of those dreams, you can create your future. This is Casey Liston signing out. Good night.
And once again, this guy's deep, man.
What?
Shut up, Red. I knew it was coming. All right, and Mr. Red Fox, you're up next. The guy that hasn't been taking bulls since he was born, I think. Go ahead.
Uh, this is Mr. Red Fox. Once again, I have not taken BS since '91. Born in '86. Haha, it's five. But I enjoyed this podcast. It was a lot of real talk, and I enjoy real talk. So, yeah, it was great.
All right, thank you great to have you, man. And there were two people that had to leave, or they would have been dropped out. I'm not sure, but Twilight Bites, aka Christian, be sure to check him out as well when it comes to jazz and the music and his thoughts. And the guys on point. Also, GVGINU, which is short for Great Video Game Ideas Not Used. Be sure to check him out as well. And as always, I'm your humble host, Ken, aka Dr. Feelgood, and I bid you all good night. Catch you later.
Peace.